So using technology really is something that can be used with any type of school project or lesson. It helps the kids not only stay engaged, but can make learning authentic for them. Often, when people think of technology, they think of social studies or science projects, but it can easily be used in language arts. So, one of the lessons that technology, can greatly be used for is in the unit of study of word study. The big idea of this lesson would be to understand what types of clues do authors use to help the reader understand unknown words. Some of the questions are, do the clues surrounding a challenging word define the type of writer an author is? And do all challenging words have clues to help the reader? So some of the ways to look for an unknown word is to look at the type of word it is. Is it an everyday word, academic word, subject-specific word? You can decide on its part of speech, knowing its mood and tone. You can look at context clues and then understanding and recognizing if it has a root word. So some of the technologies for this particular unit of study is going to be Kami PDF Reader, Google Slides with Pear Deck add-on, and News ELA. So the first is an interactive lesson here, which is Google Slides. And this here is has Pear Deck. So the students would have the opportunity to do the different tasks that are given to them. So in this slide here, I'm telling them that this is a description context clue, and I want them to underline the clues that support this as being a synonym description clue. So when they're given the code, they would be able to actually go and underline and mark up this passage. So here, they would be asked to underline, underline, here, underline, let's see, there's some that are, so in this one, you're going to place a flag over the signal word that helps support this as being an antonym clue. So the students would go and they would have this flag here that would allow them to actually place it over the word but. So that's exactly what the students would do. So there are, this is interactive. This would be a class activity that I would run. All of these passages I collected ahead, but the students can also see the results on the smartboard. I can put everything on the smartboard. I can watch what all my students do just by using this technology Pear Deck add-on to Google Slides. So this would be an activity that would be one of the last strategies for word study of context clues. After that, the students would be asked to go on an independent level and look at a News ELA article that I would assign. So here is an article that I found that I would want my students to read, and I would assign this to the students. And News ELA is another great use of technology where it has text sets and different collections. You can make binders for the students, and so then all the students, would have access to it. You can change the level of the Lexile reading and how hard it is for the students. And then you can, when you create the assignment, you can put the directions here. So the students are going to be asked to fill out a script on defining an unknown word. So using the assigned News ELA article, choose one challenging word and fill out the script below. Remember that you can fill in the script as you like, but you can also add to it. This is a rough draft to help you. Yours should look similar, but you should have it adapted to suit your own words, clues, and style of writing. So in this article, the students can choose which word they find to be the most challenging. So it really would depend on the student. Maybe a student wouldn't understand what the word dialogue means. Maybe, croak, even, species, emulate, these are all different hard words. So they're asked to look in this article for the clues and to create a script. So when I first came across the word, let's say they do emulate, I could tell that it was a academic type word. I knew this because it was describing the barn owl chicks. Next, I look at the word's part of speech, and I could tell that it was an adjective or a verb they would put in, or a noun, whichever applies to them. I knew this because, and they will, kind of take this as a script. So the reason that this is another activity is it's branching off of the group activity, which is the Pear Deck with the Google Slides, bringing them to this independent activity, but it is modeled for them, and it is supportive. The last piece of technology that I would have students use in this unit is, again, to open up this passage from our mentor text. And this is a text that students use on a regular basis. We refer to it for a lot of our lessons. And they'll be asked to use the Google extension Kami to mark up the pages. And here are the directions for that. So they're going to open up to the word prodded on the bottom of page 12. So here, if they open up the passage, we're actually going to open it up with Kami, the PDF extension. And we're going to find 12. My students will be asked to read the text, but for the purpose of this video, we're going to go right to it. So here on page 12, there is the word prodded, and I ask the students to find the word prodded. So here it is, and I ask them to highlight it in yellow with where they see some context clues to help them. So here I'm going to highlight this here. Okay, and then in the directions here, I ask them to then mark up what type of clue it is. So in here, I believe that it's a synonym clue because poked is a synonym for prodded. So I'm going to put an S here, an S clue. Okay. I also ask the students to then go and mark the words around it as positive or negative. That would contribute to the tone of it. So in here, I felt that the word prevent here might be negative. Okay. Knocked here might be negative, and we're going to make this a little bigger so that you can actually see it and move it. And the students would be asked themselves to mark up the text. There we go, put that here over the word, this other one here. Okay, we're going to, let's see, I also saw rejected. We're going to put a negative here. Let's make this bigger. And again, let's move it so that it's above. So the students are asked to mark the words around it with positive or negative signs, and then to label the unknown words part of speech. So again, I would label this. They can do some drawing. We can do some underlining. There's a lot of capability here to do using Kami. I can also erase something if I felt, that I didn't want to do it. I can insert an image. I could sign. So basically, this is a really good annotating tool, but in here I could give students instructions and have them actually mark up text, and then they can save it. So then, tomorrow I might say to them, okay, go to page 15 and then mark up this word and the clues and the positives and the negatives. So again, this is another really good authentic way of learning during this unit when students are looking at word study and the different clues and the different ways that authors write so that a reader can, not have such a difficult time when reading, and that he or she can, expand their vocabulary, but also, be challenged at the same time. So to sum it up, this word study unit is on all different types of word study, and we would talk about context clues and grammar and part of speech and mood, and in this would be like a compilation project where the students would do a lot, where they're using all of their previous knowledge and now taking technology to be able to apply their understanding.